see he's trying to get the angle on me? He just got the angle on me. Very much.
There's no angle in this order, I can tell you. So, first of all, Michael, welcome to India, and I hope the hospitality was good enough, because India is kind of known for that. We are known for the hospitality, to welcome our guests. Like it is literally said in our country that Mehman Bhagwan ka roop hota hai, which means a guest is equal to God in our country. So this is how we consider, and I hope we are able to fulfill that promise that we have been.
I'm gonna be honest, this is the best reception I've ever received, and to have it here with Rebecca at the same time and us both have this experience has been pretty awesome. Very cool.
So Michael, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. Of course, you have already answered multiple times how your journey began in arm wrestling. But I would like to know, at what level were you at when you started your journey? Were you beating everyone? I think you just mentioned at the seminar that you were winning in your school. But did you at any time face such situation where a non-arm wrestler, of course when you began your career, did any non-arm wrestler beat you, or what was your level exactly when you just started arm wrestling?
Well, I have a funny story, so I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, so I always messed around, would arm wrestle my dad on the armrest of the chair. I'd always get up there and grab him. When I was 15 years old, I beat him for the first time. And then by the time I was a senior in high school, I could beat everyone in school. I went to English, driver's ed, and Votech, and I was at Votech and was in the cafeteria, and a guy points out this guy and he's like, that guy's second in the state. I'm like, let's do it. We get on the cafeteria table and I beat him. He's like, you gotta go to this tournament. I go to this tournament, take third place, come home, I built a table. It wasn't the right height because I was tall, everybody else was short, so I had this unusable table, but I arm wrestled a lot. And I pretty much could beat everyone. And then I was at a bowling alley, and there was this guy that wanted me to arm wrestling. And my buddy's like, oh man, I got $100 if you can beat this guy. And I grabbed a hold of him, and I'm like, I can't beat this dude. He was a top roller, and I had no idea what a top roller was back then. I was just an inside shoulder presser. And this random dude off the street was about to throttle me. But I ended up not arm wrestling the dude because I was like, I can't beat him. So that was the only guy, probably, off the street, even though my level wasn't that high, that I was like, dude, I can't beat that guy. But then obviously I got much better over the years, and I've never, I do a lot of beat the champs where I take on people all across the United States, different strengths, strongman, whatever. A lot of the strong guys that are surprising are fitness models. Male fitness models are really strong. It's really weird. I've arm wrestled at the Arnold Classic and stuff, and something about those tight, jacked dudes, strong hands. But yeah, normally guys off the street, you can see potential, but nobody that's gonna like shock you,
So I've also noticed, maybe not with the guys that you were mentioning, but about gymnasts and calisthenic guys. I've seen them, like, if you go to a regular gym, like I kind of don't even train for arm wrestling, but if I go to a gym, there is a 100 kg or 90 kg dude jacked with muscles, and just based off watching arm wrestling, knowing the techniques, how to top roll, how to hook, and how to be quick off the start, I can almost always beat the guys who are not arm wrestlers. Right. So I'm kind of sitting somewhere between the guys who are gym goers and not arm wrestling and the arm wrestlers. I'm somewhere, without training, I'm somewhere between those guys. But whenever I try to arm wrestle with the calisthenic guys who are used to doing weighted muscle ups and multiple explosive,
well, it's their hands.
Yeah.
Their hands. I mean, anybody who's doing pulling exercises, for one, their hand has to hold on to what they're pulling. Usually it's their calisthenics, so it's their body weight. So their hands and wrists are strong. It's just like running into a manual laborer. A gym guy, and you'll see a lot of times, I don't mean to cut you off, a gym guy, you'll see them working their forearms, their biceps, their back, whatever, but they'll neglect their wrists and their hands. And a lot of times they'll have smaller hands because they want symmetry. The smaller your joints are, the bigger your muscles look. Hard working people want big joints. They want big wrists. So when you run into someone like that, you're like, oh shoot, I gotta hold somebody strong.
And that's the clear, visible feature of arm wrestlers. I was taking a cab to here today, and that guy immediately said, what is up with everyone? Why does everyone have like huge arms? He was like, they do not look like bodybuilders, but they kind of do.
Right.
It is, but like, only the arms is visible, like visible part is only arms, and he was kind of amazed with that. And so Michael, my next question would be, you already kind of answered it in your seminar when you were explaining how you would recover after a tournament, and you would just do blood flow and put cold water, like cold therapy, ice therapy on it. But my question, because a lot of beginners will be watching this interview, is how do you find a balance between going really hard in your beginning practice sessions, and because if you go really hard in the practice sessions, you're going to be probably sore for 2-3 weeks, and then you're not going to be able to do anything if you go really hard. I'm talking about a beginner who just started arm wrestling. But if you try to go light, you may not be that much sore, but are you really building your tendons? So what is the balance? Like I don't believe if you go really hard, of course it is going to build your tendons, but then you're going to miss probably 2 weeks of workout.
Okay, so this is where we're going to differ in opinions. I never missed workouts. When I first started, I went really hard, but I always did the biceps the next day. I've been doing biceps a day after arm wrestling since I started arm wrestling.
32 years.
Oh my God, and I'm telling you, it is amazing. Like, I've cried my arms in practice, sit there bawling, my arms hurt so bad. From the outside tendons to the inside elbows, to the point where I couldn't even move my arms in practice. And the practice is still going on, and I would go to the sink, fill it full of ice, freeze it, pull it out, rub it. 30 minutes later, I'm back on the table banging again. There's something to be said about it. There's something to be said about high volume bicep training, because you're going past training muscles. Like, if you destroy your muscles, it takes a while, because it's that, that stiffness. Oh God. But if you immediately get blood in there the day after, you'll be surprised at how remarkably fast you heal. At least that's how it's always worked for me. So I can only speak from my own experiences, but the reason my right arm is so messed up is I didn't have health insurance for the first 20 years. So I had no idea what was wrong with my arm. I'd have buddies like, oh, I got this tendon, I got that tear, I got that. I'm like, yeah, I probably got that, but I didn't go to the doctor. I just worked through it, I just kept training. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, because you'll end up with one of these. But yeah, I mean, I've always just pushed through it.
And one question, Michael, that I was kind of waiting for someone to ask from the crowd, but nobody did. And that question would be about making a career from arm wrestling. And of course, Pro Punja League is focusing on that a lot. They're trying to let us know how we can potentially build a career. And of course, you have done that, of course, very successfully. I would say you are one of the most successful arm wrestlers when it comes to becoming a full-time arm wrestler, making it your job, making a living of it. So seeing this league, how much it is possible in India and probably on other countries as well, what would you advise us beginner arm wrestlers if we want to make a career from arm wrestling?
Okay, so this advice would be different now than what it would have been 10 years ago because of social media, right? Treat arm wrestling like a job. Treat it like it is your job. Set short-term goals. Reach those goals. Set new goals. But don't set goals this high that you're never going to reach, because you're going to lose focus, you're going to get distracted, you're not going to make it. Set short-term goals. Set both physical goals, financial goals, every type of goal that you want to set from a sponsorship. You got to figure out, okay, so how many tournaments do I want to go to in a year? How much does it cost me to go to these tournaments? Who would be the best person that I could represent to help fund me to go to these tournaments? That's how I used to do it. With social media now, film everything. Film everything. Who knows what might go viral? The stuff that we don't even expect to be any good is the stuff that's got 17 million views, right? We're like, that's not gonna do anything. Holy crap, that's crazy, right? So I've been a professional arm wrestler for a while, but it's because I chose a career that allowed me to train. I ran my own personal training business, so I had access to the gym all the time. So I'd do a private training session with a client, and then I'd train myself, right? While I was training them, I'd be doing hand and wrist stuff, right? So I've always been able to do this as a profession, whereas a lot of people have not. But now I'm a full-time professional athlete. Between social media, between our different brand partners and people that we've associated ourselves with, what I recommend for everyone, regardless of your level, like did you watch my last Monster Factory? Did you see Dustin Hyatt?
Yes.
Amazing kid, right?
Yeah.
That kid looks like an Abercrombie model.
I think it's 19?
22.
22, okay, 22.
But he should be doing every picture on his social media with his shirt off.
Yeah.
That dude should market the hell out of himself, because I mean, you have a look. So just take whatever it is that you have and market it. Whether it's you have very specific strength in one-arm pull-ups. Do a bunch of one-arm pull-up videos. I mean, like, whatever it is that you're good at, put that stuff out there, because the world wants to see it. They just may not know it yet.
So I've always said this crazy thing, and some people hate me for that. I used to say, and I still say that if anytime you do anything good, anything great, make sure you let everyone know about it.
That's good. That's some good advice.
Yeah.
I mean,
there is a saying in India, "Neki kar aur darya mein dal," which means like do the good deeds and just be relaxed with it. Do not brag about it. But I have almost the opposite thing. Like in this social media world, if you do anything great, make sure you let everyone know about
well, here's
it.
the deal. Yeah. And I don't want to cut you off but I just have to speak on that. From morality and just being a good person and all, and you know, that's amazing advice, and it's a way to live your life. But if you want to be successful in social media, you gotta let the world know how awesome you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because I've never really taken that approach. I just thought, hey, you know, I'm working out, I'm filming, whatever. But really, some of the coolest stuff that you might have done, like there's some stuff that we've done, I'm like, man, if I'd had the camera going, I'd have so many more followers because that was so cool. But I mean, it's just stuff like that. It's such small stuff, but it can make such an impact. And just because you have a platform doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. And I don't know if I can cuss, but I did. The biggest thing is you can impact people in a positive way. I do this because I love arm wrestling. I do this because it's a way that I get to spend every day with my best friend. But the comments and messages that I get of how people, how we've been, just our transformation that we're doing, how we're inspiring them to be healthy. I mean, we're past middle age, right? So like, if you can be that healthy at your age, you know, it's awesome to be able to have that impact. And if I didn't have this platform, I wouldn't be able to. So yes, sometimes you're bragging, you're patting yourself on the back because you do something cool, but the impact you get to make in other people's lives, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, my question is always why not? We are not lying about anything. We're telling the truth, and this is how I believe it should be done, because in today's world with so much stuff online, nobody has the time to ask you personally what you're doing. If you're doing something, you're going to have to show it to people, especially in this social media age. Unless the government is paying you some pension because you are a world champion arm wrestler, which many countries are. But if you're living in a country such as you in North America, which is not paying any government support to the athletes, you're going to have to do it by your own. And since we are talking about social media career, I would ask you one basic question. In the beginning, do you approach the sponsors, or do you wait for the sponsors to approach you for your social media? What is the right decision if you are using their products, of course?
From a social media perspective, so I'm going to tell you how I used to do it prior to social media, and then we'll move into social media. I was this guy. I wanted to arm wrestle in 15 tournaments next year. Each tournament's going to cost me $300 to attend. So I need to find a way to get $4,500 that's not coming from my check. So I would go around to my local town, say there was, I don't know how many people in my town, I would go find 10 businesses, 10 different businesses, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm Michael Todd, I'm the National Arm Wrestling Champion, or whatever my rank was at the time. I would never say I was something that I wasn't. I would go to an event and someone like, oh, this is a world champion. I'm like, I'm just a national champ. Because I never want to misrepresent myself.
Yeah.
And then I would like, okay, so I'm about to go to this competition. I'm going to get a half a dozen shirts printed, my name, my logo, whatever, but I'm going to put all of your logos on the back. And all I'm asking for is $10 a week. I'm going to ask for $10 a week, and if you guys have any special events or any promos, I'll bring my arm wrestling table down, I'll do a Beat the Champ. When I come back, and this is back when people put stuff in the newspaper, I'm like, I'll put an article in the newspaper. So if I went to ask somebody for $500, they could easily say no. But if I want to ask them for $10 a week, you're kind of like, well, $10, I can do that. Well, I just got 10 people to give me $520, so I just got $5,200, so I just covered my tournaments for the year. So I knew that I was going to provide a product, I knew I was going to provide a service, so I just went out and who would most benefit from that service. It's the exact same approach with social media. If you use a product, Rebecca laughs at me constantly because I actually check my message request. Like, I'll see a message request, and it could have been a company that reached out to me because they saw something, but because I didn't click on it, I didn't know they were interested. So I will click through all my message requests, and you see some really weird stuff in there. But sometimes you'll find somebody that wants to partner with you. But also, like, I will message anyone on Instagram. I've messaged The Rock, he hasn't responded. Pretty pissed about that. But like, I'm telling you, I message him. Who's the dude that does the show that we love so much, where they do all the stuff that we laugh at all the time?
Oh, ridiculousness.
The guy that does ridiculousness. I messaged him like, hey, if you ever want to learn how to arm wrestle, I mean, I will message anyone, right? And those messages get me, like, we just got we got a sponsorship from a Gravely mower company. They sent me this commercial mower because I messaged them and told them, hey, I'm the world arm wrestling champion. I have 6 acres of land. I'm gonna be mowing my yard. I'll shoot some videos. They thought it was a great idea. We got on a phone call. Boom, they sent me a mower. So it's just stuff like that.
How many mower places did you message?
Oh, yeah. I messaged a bunch of mower places.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first one. People were like, oh, well, Michael Todd got it first. No, Michael Todd didn't. Michael Todd messaged 100 people to get 5. But do you believe in yourself enough? That's what it comes down to. Do you believe you are valuable? If you believe you're valuable and that you have value to someone else, find out who that person is and don't stop till you get a hold of them. And that's all I've done. That's how we funded a 6-month tour across the United States. That's how I built an addition to our gym. That's how I'm building Monster Fact. I mean, it's just, I know that we have something that has value. I just have to find the right partner. And once you find the right partner, you both can grow together. So.
And this is something that if I'll tell you honestly, if anyone in arm wrestling gets a sponsor or makes some money from arm wrestling, I would say I'm the second most happiest guy in the arm wrestling community after that guy, of course. It makes me really happy. And there was one confusion. You mentioned that in the last Monster Factory event as well. I did not say that you got them easily. I just said in my live stream that the chat started that who probably is having a most successful financial career from arm wrestling alone. And I said that my guess would be Michael Todd. That's all I said.
I mean, it was somebody commented, that you commented, and I never even heard it. I always give you crap though. But yeah, so, dude, it's seriously, and I appreciate that, but it's not because it was handed. It's because I'm willing to work for it. And that's the same approach, and I'll keep talking. So the same approach it takes to be world champion, same approach it takes to be successful in business, same consistency. You have to believe that you have value. You have to believe that you have worth. And if you believe those things and you're willing to put in the work, you'll get the return.
And this has been like a really, really great career for you. And Michael, I would ask you one question about your recent kind of, I'm not sure if we can call it a change in style, but I've noticed one thing, that earlier when the ref said go, you are not so much focused on pinning your opponent off the go. I'm talking about till probably 2019. And what I saw was you hit sideways and you accept however further you can move the arm of your opponent to the side, and you will initiate your position as soon as the referee said go. You just barely have your shoulder above the table, which was a perfectly fine position, and I really, really like that version. But recently I have started seeing that you have kind of shifted, and I may be wrong, please correct me if I am, you have kind of shifted your focus on pinning your opponents off the go, and you're trying to see in the beginning if you can arm wrestle with them or beat them without dipping your shoulder below at all. And if you see there is a necessity, then you kind of go a little bit below. So does that kind of waste your time? I really like the previous version who just was really focused, who knew to the exact millimeter where I have to stop with my shoulder. That hit was really effective. Am I making any sense?
No, absolutely. So it just was a lot of criticism. I took a lot of hate, and that pissed me off. And Rebecca doesn't like me making myself vulnerable, but it hurt my feelings. I'm like, dude, I'm just me being me, and you're a bunch of assholes hating me for being me. Right? I'm just trying to win, and you want to criticize how I do it. And the people who are criticizing me can't do any of the stuff that I'm doing, but I allowed it to get to me. And because of that criticism, I felt like I needed to prove how strong I was. Because anyone who's ever known me has always known me for being strong. In my entire life, no one has ever called me weak. Ever, who knows me personally. Ever.
Except Devin, left arm.
Well, that's because Devin's weird. I mean, we have to go with that. Devin is weird. I'm just going, whoever's watching, weird. All right, so, but yeah, I mean, prior to like this, this generation of social media, it's the only people in my life to ever call me weak. I've always been known as being strong. So for someone to call me weak or stand up and arm wrestle like a man, I took that shit to heart. It pissed me off. I'm like, if I could just slap the shit out of every one of these guys, I can't. So I was like, well, how can I make it right? Well, I'm just gonna change how I arm wrestle. It was not as effective. so I mean, I don't. And so now I'm in a hybrid of the super successful way I used to do it to how I tried to start doing it, moving back to the super successful way I used to do it. But then you got to figure, very bad case of COVID.
Yeah.
Nerve damage, pronation, riser. I mean, I'm still coming back. Like, I'm not back yet, but I do believe the best version of me still to come. I just believe it. I mean, people think I'm crazy, and then they think I'm crazy for saying that I have a shot at Levan. if you are at this level in any sport and you don't think you have a chance, you should quit. I mean, 100% I have a chance. It might be a really small chance, but I got a chance.
And about the Levan question, Michael, everyone was saying that since Levan is kind of unbeatable, everyone should move down the weight category. Devon should cut weight, Vitaly should cut weight. Everyone was saying that. So is it really important? Like, if there is always going to be one champion, maybe someone can beat him, maybe someone can't. But is it really necessary to cut down weight? You've also been advised by many people to cut down weight, and you've always been against that.
Like, what weight class am I going to cut to?
Yeah.
Like, if I've got abs and I'm lean and I'm still 25 pounds heavier than the next weight class. I mean, how do you expect me to cut? So, no. We had Cleve Dean, who was 6'9", 750 pounds. It is not about how big the person is. It's not about how... Levan is special. Levan has worked his ass off to get to where he's at. The rest of us should celebrate his success and chase his ass. But say we should cut weight or make a different weight class where it's unfair? No, it's not unfair. And then people are like, oh, nobody wants to see you pull Levan. You're gonna get 6-0'd. I'm like, so did everybody else. Everyone else got beat 6-0. So is this criticism that you're saying, or are you just like, I don't care. If I lost 6-0, I still did just as good as everyone else who apparently doesn't suck.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? But
Same.
I'm just like, so I want a shot, dude. I want a shot bad. I'm not ready today. Won't be ready tomorrow. But I'm telling you, it might be a minute. But yeah, I want a shot.
So, Michael, I'll just ask you a couple of questions from the community post. I know your time is very valuable. I won't take much of it.
But how good is this interview, though?
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
This is Michael. Seriously, what I believe in myself, that I can ask questions.
Yeah.
This is what I think I can do good in the arm wrestling community, and I'm going to continue.
As long as you know your skill set.
Yeah.
Sorry,
People have been advising me, like, I right now I cannot leave my job, so 8 hours of job, and then I'll have to watch everything at 2x speed. Sometimes you guys and both of you.
That's why
fast.
you mess my stuff up, because you're watching it too fast.
No.
That's what it is.
Derek Smith and you two guys, you are the ones who speak fast in the arm wrestling community. So sometimes I'll have to stop doing work while I'm listening to you at 2x speed. If there is Devon, I could probably be solving a question while listening to him at 2x speed. So sometimes I'll have...
That's good stuff right there.
I'll have to...
Somebody cut that and make like a reel. That shit was funny.
I have to focus on one thing, like tunnel vision. Like, either I keep both of my feet on different boards, or I focus on one thing. That is why I'm focusing on this kind of
I got you, man. I was just
social
messing with
media
you.
part.
Okay, so what do we got?
So the first question was, and I also have a question to add in that, has your focus on social media kind of hampered your ability slightly to be on a even higher level than what you already are? Like, I'll give one example, and this is kind of criticism for you from my side. Should a world level arm wrestler, world champion arm wrestler like you be really focusing on that much details? I've always heard you saying that video was #1 in the first 8 days of the week. It got most click-through rate. So should a world champion arm wrestler be really focused on that minute details on YouTube? Is it taking your focus away from arm wrestling?
The answer is no. It is not taking my focus away. I don't have a regular job. So I can't train 24 hours a day. I mean, the only thing that's taken is the injuries. It's COVID, it's nerve damage. That's the only reason I'm not at the level that I have been for so long. Social media, and I get a lot of, I mean, Jody was like, oh, you need to back off social media, and then I beat Todd 3 matches in a row. But, yeah, I mean, it's social media. Social media is my job. I mean, my wife and I get to spend every single day with my best friend. I wouldn't change that for the world. If it made me 1% weaker, 2% weaker as an arm wrestler, but I get to spend every single day with my best friend, I'm choosing my best friend. I mean, arm wrestling's fun, and arm wrestling's great, but as far as my social media, has it affected my arm wrestling? Not at all.
And Rebecca, I really want to thank you for one thing. Like, I'm really, really thankful to you, and you wouldn't even know about it. You are the one who is really, really helping Michael. You're doing as much as Michael is doing in this journey. And I kept on telling my wife that every day, that look at Rebecca, how much she's doing for her husband. You need to edit my videos as well. And finally, after telling her that 1,000 times, she has started editing my videos and helping, like almost we're trying to follow you as a couple in this social media journey, I would say. So I'm really, really thankful. Please do not stop doing anything for Michael, whatever you're doing right now to help him. Please keep on doing that and even more, so that I can force her to do the same as well.
Just letting you know, down the road, he's going to look at you and say, now it's time for you to build your social media too, because we need both platforms. It is too much.
Let me tell y'all something else. How we are not following the same path. I don't tell Rebecca to do anything. So you told her to be, I don't tell her to do anything. I'm like, honey, sweetheart, would you please edit this video?
Well, this is a good time though for me to talk about it, because people are like, Rebecca just wants the spotlight, or Rebecca just wants to be in Michael's videos. That is not how this works out at all. Michael wants me on his channel. Are you aware that it used to be Monster and Mrs. Monster? Wasn't changed because of my idea. It was his idea, so that the brand could be recognized.
No, it wasn't changed. I didn't want to change it. It was suggested that we change it. I wanted the channel to always be Monster and Mrs. Monster because I wanted it to be about our life. I wanted it to be about our journey, right? It is something that we do together. It's my ability and freedom to get to spend that life with you. So Monster and Mrs. Monster was the channel.
But I didn't want the spotlight.
No, she was like, I don't want that. But she's the one that said, honey, we need to switch it to Monster Michael Todd because more people can find it that way. Because my subscribers were going really, really slow. And once we switched it, we had a rapid growth of new subscribers. And I always wanted at some point to switch it back to Monster Mrs. Monster, but now the brand itself I think is too big. So that's why we have Mrs. Monster's channel. And honestly, I truly believe, and I'm hoping wholeheartedly, that her platform gets bigger than mine, because I need a sugar mom.
Yeah. And Michael, you just mentioned that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you were saying that it was suggested to you to change the name of the channel. Can you guess who was the first guy who suggested that?
I'm guessing you're gonna tell me it's you.
It was me.
This is the guy. This is.
I suggested that.
Yeah, seriously though, it made sense. I mean, no one was looking for Monster Mrs. Monster because no one even knew that was a thing, right? And very few people were looking for Michael Todd Arm Wrestling. But Monster Michael Todd it's a brand of its own now. And that's what we're so pleased about with Monster Factory. Monster Factory was just an idea. Like, it was not supposed to be what it's turning into. And we are so blessed. Like, I get to pull Jobbers Inc. in 5 months at my house.
Yeah.
At my house. You know, like, people get to pull Jobbers Inc., but I get to pull him at my house. You know what I mean? Like, for real. And probably have 250,000 people watch it. You know? That's what's crazy, is the amount of people, because even you, okay, how crazy did you think we were when we said we were going to do it for free?
I've not seen since the culture of pay-per-views started in arm wrestling, I did not see such high-level matches without a pay-per-view. Yes, before that there was some matches, but since the COVID period started and we really started focusing on pay-per-views, I had never seen that done before.
It was crazy. Can I tell them the analytics on that real quick? Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys. Check this out. So, because we gave it it wasn't free. It was just free to the viewers, right? We just found a better way to fund it. We had 130,000 real-time views in the first 24 hours on our YouTube alone. That's not our Facebook. That's not the other platforms. 77,000 of those 130 unique viewers, right? So, and that could have been, those are like IP addresses, right? That could have been 2 or 3 people in the room, so who knows? But a minimum of 77,000 people. I have to compare it. Well,
King of the table.
Anybody. No one has done 77,000 pay-per-views. So no other arm wrestling event since COVID has been viewed by more people in the first 24 hours than what we just did in my house, at our garage, in our gym. And it's just the beginning. And we could not do that without you guys. It's only because we are getting this kind of response that we can go back with a new set of analytics to get even greater funding to bring you guys a better event for free. So it's a blessing, dude. I'm so excited about Monster Factory, but everything that we're doing, like I said, I don't think I've peaked yet. I feel like I'm getting healthier, I'm getting stronger. I'm enjoying the transformation with Rebecca. I could not be more blessed than I am right now. So, arm wrestling, I'm gonna crush John Brzezinski. It's gonna be so bad, John. I love you. Mess you up. But yeah, I'm excited.
December 10th, Monster Factory event 3rd. So, Michael, I have a couple of suggestions for your event. Because the last one, I don't think it is the lighting, maybe the software that you're using to live stream. The video that you may have seen are kind of not bright enough, but you may have seen it in your thumbnails. Like the thumbnail, no matter how much I tried to edit those thumbnails after taking a screenshot, it was not showing as well as some of the other matches we have seen. So maybe it is because of the software that you're using. So you should definitely, and I don't think that you did this time, you should definitely have a separate DSLR recording the matches so that you can post it afterwards, because the video quality, I would say, was not that great enough.
Yeah, there's $100,000 worth of production equipment there.
Yeah.
So this was far exceeded what we did last time, but I did see something blurry when I tried to blow them up and put them on Instagram. I don't know what that was about. The raw footage I think is fine. It's just the copied version. She knows more than me.
The screen recordings of anything are not the screen recordings, like when someone screen records, it's not coming through as clear, but the raw footage that we have in HD form is clear. So it was like, you could have asked me for a clip and I could have clipped it out and sent it to you. Which, that's one thing that we did for all of our athletes, is we clipped it and we sent them the original footage of their own matches, right? So he did have it on a different hard drive or whatever it is. I don't understand all that stuff. John from In It Live is our production guy, and he did see some things that he wanted to improve on, and he is going to make those adjustments, and we'll all talk about it going in. But I know that Monster Factory 1 was great. Monster Factory 2 was even better with the different camera angles. Monster Factory 3, we're going to continue to improve, and we appreciate your suggestions.
And suggestions like that help. And a lot of the lighting is my fault. I built the gym for content creation.
Terribly.
Horrible lighting. Because I did not realize you had to have certain lights, right? Like, I just thought all lights was lights. It doesn't work that way. So that's 100% my fault. But yeah, we might be working on, we might be working on some different lighting for that, but my biggest goal is the new Monster Factory. If we can get that done, I don't know when it's going to be. We say 2023 possibly, but it will be built specific. I mean, it'll be a huge gym, but there'll be a stage and everything built specifically for events. Like, it'll have everything. Everything will be built in. So if we can make that, I mean, we keep getting these views, it can happen, right?
Right, this is one of the most important questions. So Peter is asking, you've been critical on Pradeep in the past. What's your thoughts about his content now? I think he's just not biased and calls it how he sees it. No matter who you are, congrats on your win against Godzilla.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I believe early on there were certain things you weren't as knowledgeable about as you are now. So I think you spoke sometimes which you thought were unbiased, but they were not necessarily unbiased. I think you had a little bit of your opinion back in my opinion. I think you've grown from that, matured from that, became better at being unbiased. So yeah, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I do believe there have been some miscommunications where the interpretation or the repeating of something that was said was repeated incorrectly, and then repeated again, and then repeated again. By the time we get back to one of us, we're like, well, why the hell would he say that? You know what I'm saying? Shit. I mean, just, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like, and miscommunication happens. But as far as your opinions on how things go, a lot of it in the beginning for me was you would state things as facts, and I did not like it. Because you're like, there's no way he could do it. Like, no, there's a way. It's not likely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I hate it when people, that's just, because I am so literal. And Rebecca gets on to me constantly being so literal about things. But a lot of times you would speak in a fashion that may not meant to be taken literally, but I would take it literally, you know? So, but yeah.
I would try to clarify this point, Michael. I very rarely use words like, in my opinion, and you use that term a lot. Like, I can always see in every other sentence you use in my opinion. And I think with many people, some of that can come from the criticism. Like, if we say something and it is proven to be wrong, then we are criticized for it, and people start saying that, why did you state it as a fact? So maybe it will start happening to me as well. But I somehow believe that if I'm saying something, I'm saying that Michael is going to beat John, why do I need to add in my opinion before that? Of course, everyone should know that it is my opinion. How can that be a fact? Like, it is not like sun is rising or it is day and night. It is not fact. So I would say, yeah.
I'm very literal. When you say it's going to happen, that means I got to bet the house on it. It's going to happen.
Because it is not a math formula that can be proven. It is.
Right.
My belief is that if I'm saying something, it is like, especially a prediction. It is obviously my opinion. How can it be fact? I just believe that saying that it is my opinion, it may be wrong. I think it is a wastage of words, at least for me.
Hey, this is why I want to keep your words to the minimum. That's on you. I will always add, in my opinion, after my stuff, just because I'm so, like I said, I never want to misrepresent myself. So I've always been that way. Like I said, I wouldn't used to call myself a world champion if I was only the national champion. But yeah, we're all entitled to feel how we want. I think what happens to me is because I've caught so much criticism, so much hate via the social media. Someone would say something, and they'd say it in a way that was such a derogatory comment, and then he would state it as a fact. And I'm like, you have no clue how this is going to happen. I mean, you're just, and it's not even that. People believe everything they hear. Everything. People think Devin's less good. I mean, did you just see him go over there? I mean, all Devin had to do was say his left was good, and they ranked him #1. Did you see that? Like, he said it was good. He didn't do anything except say it was good. So everybody's like, oh my God, his left's amazing. And I'm not saying his left probably beats mine, but he just pulled Alex over there, and Alex pulled a Corey over there, and everybody's like, oh my God. But it's just, when you say it on social media, the world takes it and runs with it. Hang on a second, let's see if it works. I am amazing. Nah, I don't think it's gonna work. I tried to say it. Go ahead. What you got?
So one final question or ending comments would be, Michael, what did you see different here in India compared to where you live in the States? Like, any cultural difference, anything better, anything worse related to human beings, weather, country, anything that you would like to add?
Man, I can't. Listen, I'm a lover of people, and I hate to see people living in certain places where it's just, I feel like everybody deserves a chance, and I hate that. What we do like here a lot are the animals. We are dog lovers, and we see happy dogs running everywhere. It makes us so happy. And Rebecca wants to go pet all the cows, so I love that. It's crazy to me that we still live in a world here in the United States, everywhere, that poverty is still such a thing. Because we are blessed with so much, and I hate that it's not better dispersed amongst everyone. I don't know, man. It makes me sad, and it's not here. It's the world in general. I think we need to love everybody. You know, I mean, even him. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, seriously, it just comes down to I'm very thankful to be here. It's somewhere I've always wanted to come. To be able to share that experience with Rebecca is amazing. But as far as India, I've never been treated this good. That's awesome. But I'm telling you that I'm a big fan of the dogs and the cows. That's pretty much what I got so far. Big fan of dogs and the cows. I mean, I love it. I'm telling you, we have back home, we live in Arkansas, right? So we hunt. People hunt, right? But we have about 20 deer on and around our property. And people are like, hey, can I bring them? No, those are my pets. Those are my deer. You cannot shoot my deer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just love animals and we love people, and the reception we've gotten here has been amazing. So we're just blessed and thankful to be here.
So thank you very much, Michael, for this interview. I asked for like 5 minutes, and we probably already did over 30 minutes of it.
I'm sure. So probably 45.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Michael. I wish you all the success, and as you said, that the peak is yet to come. So I hope it is.
State is a fact, my friend. State is a fact.
The peak is yet to come.